Potomac winds through the morning haze. A boy with a compass is learning how land is laid. From forest ridge to river's bend, he walks the boundary stone, drawing out a future line on a map not yet his own. He reads the ridges, counts the stars, and marks the fertile ground. Learns that sweat and measured steps can turn a fate around. Before the thunder of the guns, before the flags were flown, he was just a quiet hand making other men's dreams known.
But the world was turning,
fire in the autumn sky,
tax and tide and distant king,
the restless people's cry.
From the fields to the freedom line, from the furrow to the drum in time, from a surveyor's chain to a nation's sign, he stood where the hard roads run, with a farmer's hands and a soldier's spine. George Washington turned 12 colonies of troubled soil into one rising sun.
Back at Mount Vernon, the plow runs in careful rows. He studies every seed he drops and everything it grows. Rotates wheat where tobacco stood to guard the hungry years. Looking past the seasons gained to the distant pioneers. He rides the muddy river roads where commerce chokes and slows. Dreams of boats on deeper cuts where the western water flows. The Potomac Company in mind, canals through rock and clay. He sees 1,000 unseen hands finding work along the way.
Grain in the granary,
Stone in the running mill,
the nation's wealth, the nation blessed.
in discipline and will.
From the fields to the freedom line, from the furrow to the drum in time, from a surveyor's chain to a nation's sign, he stood where the hard roads run, with a farmer's hands and a soldier's spine. George Washington turned rough wilderness and parted seas into one rising sun.
Winter at Valley Forge, the fires burn low and thin. Barefoot ranks and ragged coats, a gamble no one's sure to win. But the fife and drum still call the pace through hunger, smoke, and snow. And the general rides the picket lines, so the men know he won't let go. He is not the loudest voice, he is not the quickest word, but in his quiet watchfulness a different strength is heard. When the cannons cough at dawn and the wounded day begins, he speaks of homes and harvest fields as the reason that they win.
Not for crowns or glory,
Not for marble on a throne,
for the right of common hands,
to reap the land they've sown.
from the fields to the freedom line, from the furrow to the drum in time, from a surveyor's chain to a nation's sign, he stood where the hard roads run, with a farmer's hands and a soldier's spine. George Washington held 13 fragile hopes in place till they burned like one sun.
He could have worn a king's bright name, he could have kept the sword, but he chose the gate at Mount Vernon more than a gilded board. Laid down power like a plow at rest at the ending of a day, so others yet unborn could learn to lead then step away. They'll write their letters by a lamp, they'll argue in these halls, they'll curse and praise his choices as a living nation sprawls. But each new voice that takes the oath beneath that distant sky walks a path he cleared with patience in the years he'd rather ride.
From the fields to the freedom line, from the furrow to the drum in time, from a surveyor's chain to a nation's sign, he stood where the hard roads run, with a farmer's hands and a soldier's spine. George Washington,
let the rivers, roads, and harvest rows tell how the work was done. So raise a glass from the copper still to the hands that shaped this ground, to the quiet man who led us on and then laid the burden down. For in every map and every farm, in each debated plan, lies the steady, unfinished line of that disciplined mortal man.